might have our first look at Alex Pereira at heavyweight, and I have a pretty good theory on who he is going to face next. After weird tweets from Alex Pereira about not fighting Magomed Ankalaev, and posts about a mysterious secret meeting with the UFC, we know something is big with Alex Pereira, and I think I know what's up. We're also going to talk about Nate Diaz being proven innocent, as well as Frank Warren exposing one of the judges for the Tyson Fury and Alexsandre Usyk fight. All this and more on JackMMA News. Nate Diaz just got his name cleared by Brandon Royval. Nate Diaz was seen during UFC 310 fight week throwing water bottles at Team Khabib for seemingly no reason, but Brandon Royval revealed in an interview that it was not for no reason, that he actually had a pretty good reason, seeing that Tagir Alanbekov might have thrown the first water bottle at Nate Diaz.
A water bottle almost hit me when I was with Diaz, and I'm like, all right, who the fuck am I fucking up? I don't care who it is. That's another thing too. That's what people didn't see is Diaz did not throw that first water bottle. The first water bottle was thrown at him. He was walking, the water bottle zoomed past, almost fucking took me out, and then Diaz turned around. I'm like, oh, they're going after him. But
I reached out for Tagir for comment, and honestly, I didn't really think much of it because Nate Diaz always be throwing water bottles. But speaking of Brandon Royval, he's going to be fighting Manel Kape on March 1st. This is going to be a UFC Fight Night main event, and this is a good fight because the winner of this fight will definitely get a title shot. I mean, yes, Brandon Royval is 2-0 against Pantoja, and I wouldn't be exactly so excited for that fight, but there really is no other contenders against Pantoja. But what most of all this matchup tells me is Pantoja most likely is going to be fighting Kai Kara-France next, because if Pantoja wasn't going to fight Kara-France, the obvious fight to make was Manel versus Kai. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see this fight at some point next year. Jiri Prochazka also posted some new training footage ahead of his fight at UFC 311 against Jamal Hill. Frank Warren exposed one of the judges from the Tyson Fury and Alexsandre Usyk fight. I did a video yesterday breaking down the Tyson Fury fight, talking about my thoughts, how I scored it, and the controversies after, like Tyson Fury's heated ass exchange after the fight backstage. So go check that out if you guys haven't already. But as I said, Frank Warren, Tyson Fury, Bob Arum, they all thought that Tyson Fury got robbed. So much so, Frank Warren did an interview after the fight and was looking at the judges' scorecards to expose that one of the judges gave 0 rounds to Tyson Fury after round 5.
I'm dumbfounded. They gave him 4 rounds out of 12 rounds. One judge didn't give him any round from round 6 onwards. How can that be? That's impossible. And the same with the other judge here. He gave him 1 round out the last 6. And the same here with this guy. It's crazy.
To give no rounds to Tyson Fury after round 5 is a bit insane. Like, that is crazy. I mean, the fight was extremely competitive, and I don't know how you give round 12 not to Fury. There's definitely a few rounds you can give to Fury. I think I gave at least 2. But let me know how you scored the fight in the comment section below. We also have news about Alexsandre Topuria's UFC debut coming up. We've been talking about for months how Alexsandre Topuria is the brother of Ilia Topuria, and he's going to be making his UFC debut soon. Well, we finally have the details. It is finally set in stone, it looks like. Alexsandre Topuria will be making his UFC debut at UFC 312 on February 9th against Cody Haddon, and I'm curious to see how Topuria does. He has 1 loss on his record, but I'm curious to see if he's anywhere near as good as his brother is, or if he even has the power that his brother has. Mike Perry made the craziest call out of BKFC. You guys got to take a look.
Who should face me next? I see Robbie Lawler in the crowd, and I think he should take the gloves off and he should step inside the square circle against Platinum Mike Perry.
I wouldn't mind seeing this fight because, look, Robbie Lawler hasn't really looked completely washed in the UFC. Like, he is coming off of a win, but it would be sad to see if Robbie Lawler does not look good out there, but I think that would be a really good fight to make, honestly. Robbie Lawler is so tough that I think that he could definitely withstand a lot of the punches coming at him, even if it's bare knuckle, and I wouldn't be surprised seeing Robbie Lawler was at this event that there is something in the works, so let me know if you guys would see that fight. But the main story I wanted to talk about, Alex Pereira. Now, there are rumors of him moving up to heavyweight, and let's just break down the story of what we know so far. So obviously, Alex Pereira on Friday, I talked about, tweeted out that it's not going to be Ankalaev, a mysterious tweet with a crying emoji, seemingly confirming he is not going to be fighting Magomed Ankalaev next. Magomed Ankalaev replied on Twitter calling Alex Pereira a chicken, and it seemed like maybe there was some legitimacy to this because obviously Magomed Ankalaev didn't seem happy on Twitter, and there's even more weirdness being added to this whole thing because Alex Pereira posted a video saying how he had a really good and important meeting with the UFC, leaving fans with more questions than answers.
Olha o sorriso do garoto com guitarra, né? Hein, Ed? Chama ou não chama? Chama. Estamos em Las Vegas, pô, agora voltando pra casa. Pô, muito satisfeito aí com a reunião. Bom, feliz demais, cara. Pô, essa reunião aqui. Conta ou não conta?
Não conta.
Espera pouquinho mais, né?
Espera pouquinho mais.
Chama.
So the way I see this, there are 3 possibilities. And like I said, I do think that this is going to be Alex Pereira moving to heavyweight, and I'll explain why in a second. Number 1 is that this is Magomed Ankalaev, and Alex Pereira is trolling, which is possible. We talked about in the last video. Alex Pereira is, yes, known to troll, but I don't think it would be to this extent. I might be the only person on earth that would be excited for Magomed and Pereira, but I would just be curious to see, because Pereira has crushed every challenge that has been in front of him. Could he actually beat Magomed? That's interesting to me. Now, the second theory is something that I've seen online, is that the UFC is going to pull someone from outside the UFC, kind of like what they did with Kaya Sakura, and have Alex Pereira fight this new contender. Now, the problem here is I don't think there's any big names that you would have Alex Pereira fight, because Alex Pereira is definitely one of the biggest names in that weight class in the world right now. So why would you risk a nobody beating him? The only one that would make sense to me if this was some sort of kickboxing rival that Alex Pereira had, but even that seems far-fetched to me. And I think the only reasonable conclusion we could make is Alex Pereira, it is time for him to move at heavyweight. Now, you guys might be saying, Jack, well, John Jones and Tom Aspinall is in the works. Dana White just said that himself. And I would say, relax. I did not say anything about a title. I didn't say Pereira was going to be fighting Aspinall or Jones, because I don't think that's going to be the case. I think, like I said in my last video, I theorized Magomed Ankalaev declined to fight for March or April because of Ramadan, that he's not willing to fight those days. And I think the UFC called Pereira and said, look, Magomed is not willing to fight. You don't have anybody else at light heavyweight. There's no one in the division ready. And they say, look, maybe you fight Magomed later this year, but right now, let's get you a fight. And let's schedule a 3 or 5 round bout against another heavyweight. And I think they would pick Cyril Gane. And I think this would be a massive fight for the UFC. Cyril Gane is, of course, a striking heavyweight. We don't have to worry about any takedowns from Cyril Gane. And it is 2 high-level kickboxers that would be going back and forth with high risk. And Cyril Gane is a big guy. He's a big name. He's headlined multiple pay-per-views. It would be a good spot for Cyril Gane to be in, seeing that he kind of lost his last fight, even though he technically won. And I could see this being like a co-main event 5 rounds or 3 rounds, or even being a main event of a pay-per-view, because that fight is just that big. Like, who wouldn't want to see Cyril Gane versus Alex Pereira? That is a totally winnable fight. And that's my theory. I think they're going to go with Alex Pereira versus a heavyweight, maybe Alexander Volkov, but I think Cyril Gane is the name that makes sense. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Is this a fight you guys want to see? You guys are the best fan base in MMA. Hit the subscribe button, like, comment, and share, and I'll see you guys in the next one.